그렇지.
Questionnaire on
나는
balance rock.
자연스러워.
I'm going to show you which one's balance rock.
자연스러워. Come on. Next.
I'll show you.
That one. This is Grey Rock. Oh, which one's that one? Grey Rock's this one. And then that is South Gateway Rock. This one. And then North Gateway Rock is this one. And at the top is a Kissing Camel, which is like this. So this is the view of the Garden of Rocks. Here. There. And the gang is here. And I'm here. So we're trying to see how to get on this tour. Like we're tours.
Woo! We're gonna take off. All right, buddy check. Anybody listen to a buddy?
I'm gonna do this tour of the Garden of Gods using this tour bus. Bus ready to go and see those. Come on, some German leaving after 13 minutes.
Alright guys, this is my 7th lap of the day. So I'm looking for a little energy coming back up this way. You guys ready for this?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garden of the Gods. Wow. Seriously? Oh man. Yeah! Let me tell you something. If I fall asleep and go in a ditch, guess who's going with me? So guys, this is the #1 attraction in Colorado. So what does that mean? When they built this visitor center back in 1995, they had this grand idea that one day we hope to have 1 million people a year coming here. The last few years, we're getting more than 5 million people a year. So let's put that into perspective. This is a city park. This is not state or federally funded. All the funding for this park comes from city taxes, the Friends of the Garden of the Gods Foundation, and then you guys are helping out too, because a portion of your ticket is going back into care and maintenance of the park. Hey, watch out, crazy man! To also help you understand, of all the national parks in the United States, only the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee get more visitors than we do. And we're a tiny little park, barely a speck. I think you guys have parking lots bigger than us in Tennessee. So the name Garden of the Gods, it was given to us by a surveyor named Rufus Cable. Rufus came out here to lay out the town of Colorado City, which is about 1.25 miles that way. It's now, Colorado City is Old Colorado City, and it's just a neighborhood and a historic district within Colorado Springs. But they came out here because that town was what supported all the gold mining and milling when we had our gold rush in 1859 and 10 years. So Rufus and his partner came out because the locals told him, you gotta come check out these rocks when you get to town. So his partner was Colonel Beach. Colonel Beach was from Milwaukee, which was the beer capital of the United States at the time. And so the Colonel looked at this place, he's like, whoa, this is a capital place for a beer garden. Rufus, who was having a little more reverent moment, he said, this is a garden fit for the gods. And we've called it that ever since. The family who gave us the original 480 acres is the Perkins family. Charles Elliott Perkins was a railroad builder. Works every time. So Charles bought this land at the request of General William Jackson Palmer, his friend who was also a railroad builder, and everybody was sad. They thought, well, that's the end of that. He's going to build a mansion and put a fence up. We're never going to see the garden again. But he didn't do that. He knew how important the land was to everyone, including the Native Americans. So he kept this open as a free park available to everyone until his death in 1907. And then his 6 children came together and they gave us the land to operate as a park in 1909. All right, look up top. You got the number 2 formation in the whole park. The kissing camels up there. All right, let's see who's got their imagination turned on. Look at this white rock in front of us. Anybody see the the 6-foot-long white rabbit on the top right edge of this rock? Anybody see him?
Yep.
All right, I'm not the only one who had a bottle to kill for breakfast. Good news. Woo! Guys, we've got 6 miles of roads that we're going to travel on. There's also 22 miles of trails in the park. If you hike any of the trails, please stay on the trails because this is Rattlesnake Ridge. And we do have the western rattlesnakes and timber rattlesnakes out here. Definitely not a souvenir you want to take back home. This is the border for what used to be the General's property. It's been owned since the 1950s by a group called the Navigators. They're an international, non-denominational Christian ministry. And the signs on their fence are warning you about the Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep that live over there. Now, up until like 3 hours ago, we hadn't seen the sheep in the park for the last month. And then we had about a dozen of males come into the park. And they're probably not within 200 yards of us right now, but it's very thick over here. But we'll still keep our eyes open. Maybe we'll get lucky. Guys, this is the largest rock in the park. This is North Gateway Rock. That beautiful red color in the sandstone comes from the amount of iron ore that's trapped in the sandstone. So essentially the same chemical process as rust is what gives that beautiful color. So remember we talked about coming back and doing different things? If you guys come back here, you can see the parking lot's already starting to open up. And as we get later in the day, it's going to cool off and it'll get better. You park in here, you walk this little trail out here in front of the bathrooms, you can be in the central garden, which is hands down the most beautiful spot in the whole park in less than 5 minutes of just light walking. From there, you can stay there and see it in 10 minutes, you can stay there and see it for 2 hours. There's so much to see and still to walk out. Sad? It's because she's been pregnant for 2 million years. No university for analysis. Yale got it, and they said, man, we camp the source, see these all the time, it's a big deal. And they put it in storage for the next 100 years. When we built that visitor center, we said, hey, let's give us our dinosaur back. We're going to put them on display. So they re-examined it and admitted they made a mistake. The dinosaur that was found here, it's the first time that dinosaur has been seen anywhere in the world. And several teams have been sent out here to help us locate more of them, and we never have. He truly is a one-of-a-kind dinosaur. All right, keep those cameras out. We're coming up on the postcard spot. So guys, as much as I love those eastern faces, you guys came at the right time of day. Once the sun crosses over, and then if anybody happens to be here in the evening, you came an hour before sunset, this place will blow you away. It's like the rocks are glowing in the late afternoon sun. This is the central garden from the North Rim. Those 3 spires down in the middle are called the 3 graces: faith, hope, and charity. And they're going to take on a different nature. We see them on their broadside. The last people who lived here in the garden were some of the southern Ute Indians. They were mountain Indians. They lived 3 seasons up on the mountains, and they would spend their winters down here in the garden because our winters are much more mild. One of the things they would do when they arrived here is they'd host a powwow. All right, turn those imaginations on again. We're coming up on the Weeping Maiden. So look at this red rock here. This is South Gateway. You see it's the same red color. Look at the middle one. See that section in the middle? It's a lighter color. That's the Weeping Maiden. So look at the big V at the top of that lighter colored section. On the left side of the V, come up and over. That's the back of her head. And then you see her nose, her mouth, and her eye. The right side of the V is her papoose, where she would wrap a baby and swaddle it and carry it on her back for a long distance. We call her the Weeping Maiden because we had a heavy rainstorm. That basin is about 2 feet a couple of feet away from the face of the rock. And water will collect in it. And it takes about a day and a half. That water will leach out that 1 meter of time before she's crying. footprint, a big old size 200 right foot on top of these rocks. Biggest mountain. Let me give you an example here. It's kind of hard to see at the angle of the sun, but this big guy, if you don't know her yet, that is Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak's the largest mountain in the region at 14,115 feet. So if you guys look at the very top, you can see that little ramp, that little tiny black ramp up there. That is the visitor center on top of Pikes Peak. That is as big as the one you just came out of. It looks so small from here because we're still 9 miles away. But look at that dark green line. You see the dark green line about 2/3 of the way down the portion of the mountain that we can see? Above that is called tree line or timber line. And what that means, that is, this rule applies all across the West, not just on Pikes Peak. So that begins at 11,500 feet of elevation. The air gets so thin above 11,500 that it will not support the growth of trees as we know them down here. So there is other vegetation above that line, but it's alpine tundra vegetation, which is much smaller. Like I said, that really applies everywhere out here in the West. So if you see a mountain and it has a bald top, you're looking at a peak that is taller than tree line or 11,500. If you have significant baldness above tree line, you're looking at one of our 13,000 or 13ers or one of our 14ers. We have 58 14,000 foot plus peaks in Colorado, which is more than the whole rest of the United States combined. Lots of mountains in Colorado. All right, this is the most photographed spot in the whole park. This is the Balanced Rock. He's 35 feet tall, 700 tons of stone on a very small pedestal. He used to be part of the steamship rock over here on the left, but the center section cracked and fell through a long time ago. Somebody give this guy $1, maybe he'll go away. So guys, he's pretty, you're absolutely allowed to come back here, climb on the rock. Then you gotta get up there and pretend to hold it up in the air. You break it, you buy it. So it looks good from this side, guys, but make sure you crane your neck around to look at it from this downhill side. Look how much scarier it looks from over here. We tell people we know it's coming down someday, we just hope it's not today. So we're about half a mile away from where we started in the Central Garden. That was the original 480-acre gift that was given to us by the Perkins family. The city has since then made 27 land purchases over the last 100 years to bring us up to 1,304,000 square feet. It is a whole lot bigger than it looks from out here. All right, confession time. Guys, it's a tourist trap, but it's a good example of why we're not going to get any bigger. You can see the private homes are right up to the very edge of the garden. There is a stables just outside Park Mountains if you care to do a trail ride through the park. Fred on the left and Barney standing right behind him. Yabba dabba doo! All right, you're going to lose him for a second, but Fred's going to come back into view as soon as I get around this scrub oak. So take a look at old Fred up there, looking up into the mountains. What's he looking at? The donut shop on top of Pikes Peak. Why do we make such a big deal about the donuts up there? Well, first off, it is the highest donut shop in the world at 14,115 feet. The reason we make such a big deal out of it is you're at 6,300 feet above sea level right now, more than 1.25 miles higher than you probably are back home. So when you bake a Betty Crocker cake, you can follow the directions on the back. If I want to bake that same cake and get it to come out right, I got to bake it longer and hotter and hope that that yeast does what I want it to do. So getting donuts to rise at 14,000 feet, that's baking. It doesn't have a hump. You saw an optical illusion created by that escarpment of rock more than 40 feet behind her that made her appear to have her own hump. Coming up on our left are those three Graces. And the one in the middle, Hope, she's got a different name from this side. We call her the Screaming Witch. You guys see the witch looking up in the sky with her mouth open, her hooked nose? highest rock you can climb in the park without a guide or a permit. His name is the Resting Buddha. You can see he looks like Buddha smiling into the sun as it goes down. Does anybody see the giant fish on the ridge swimming towards us? Look at that. You got a mouth, an eye, a fin on top. Any guesses as to what type of fish that is? Any kind? So the number one guess we get is grouper. The number comes up on occasion. Number 2 is goldfish. And I just got to be the bearer of bad news, guys. That is a Colorado rockfish. Little bump. I'm laying it down. You're picking it up. So as you can tell, we've got a large number of mountains in the Colorado Springs area. We have mountains on 3 sides of the city. And there's 2 that are most significant to Colorado Springs. First and foremost, of course, Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak's the reason downtown is where it's at. Giant mountain. This park directly across from us is called Red Rock Canyon Open Space. It's the only park in the city that is bigger than Garden of the Gods. We call it the Locals Garden because in July, when it's going to get 10,000 plus people over here, you can hike over there with just a couple of hundred people. Hey Stacker, I told him there's going to be a test at the end of this. Make sure you test it. This time of year, and this happened, we've seen it 2 times today alone. We'll see a wedding here almost every single day. Photographers love it because they can put you on the rock when the sun is at its apex up there, and they get great views of you with Pikes Peak in the background, and then they move behind you and they get you with Garden of the Gods in the background. So it makes for some pretty dramatic wedding photos. The record was set on February 22nd of 2022. So 2-2-2-2-2. We had 11 weddings in a row that day. You guys name it, we've seen it up here. We've had some absolutely beautiful traditional weddings, and then we've had a couple of not-so-traditional weddings. My 2 favorite, first off, we had a lingerie wedding. Really interesting considering what those men were wearing. And then my absolute favorite, and I cannot explain it, we had a furries wedding. Furries are people who dress up like cats, head to toe, and they're not allowed to talk during the service. They mimic their role inside the wedding. It was like a truly phenomenal wedding. Unbelievable. But this guy is coming into view now. He's the oldest rock in the park. His name is Gray Rock, and he is more than 300 million year old saltwater formed limestone. So what you guys are looking at, these are not mountains, they're rock formations, which essentially, if you want to break it down in its easiest thing to understand, he is old ocean bottom that was horizontal, and they are old freshwater lake bottom that is also horizontal. And the same forces that cause our mountains to lift up, lifted these guys up onto their edges over a long period of time. I feel like you're doing it wrong. So which one do you think is harder, the limestone or the sandstone? The limestone. You can see that because they've both been up for 2 million years. Look how jagged he still is, and how that shows you how much better he's weathering the erosion out here. Where the sandstone, you probably think we get up there at night and bump it all out. From the southern side, we call him the praying hands. So about 90% of all the vegetation you guys are seeing here in the park was planted by the city of Colorado Springs after the purchase or after the gift of that. And the reason for that is we're a high desert, and a lot of the stuff should all over these roads. And second, we do it to provide additional habitat for all the animals that live here in the park. But we do have older trees. They did a survey several years ago, and the guy coming up on our left, he won by more than a couple hundred years. He's a 1-seat juniper. Follow the hillside until it meets the cliff, and he is immediately left of us right now. He looks like an oversized bonsai tree up there. That tree's more than 2,000 years old. That's pretty impressive, I think. He's looking pretty good up there for 2K. Alright, one more scan for the sheep. Not looking bad. So guys, we're back. Now we're at this is the main entrance coming in, and of course that makes it the main exit going out. So you can see that it's very easy to navigate here. Essentially, it's like two big figure eights connected. You can download a map from the visitor center, visitor's desk upstairs, or if there's a particular feature that you're looking to get back to, whether it's the main lot, the balance